Welcome to this video on exporting in Factsheet Fusion 2. To get started, we need to open up a Factsheet Fusion database, and so I have one here on insect orders, and to open I can just double click on the Fusion 2 file, which has the extension Fusion 2. From here the database loads, and this will show us the projects that are available. Now, a Fusion 2 database can have many projects, but in this instance we just have the one, which is the fact sheets for insect orders. So we just click the open option here. And once the database is open, you can see within this particular database there are several topics available here, as well as 31 entities which the fact sheets will be created on. Now if we look, we can see that the description for this particular entity, and if we move through we can see that the topic here and the images and so forth are different and that have been attached to this particular one. Now since we're focusing on export, we should look at the export dialog. To access that, we either choose export fact sheets from the toolbar here, or via the menu under entities, export fact sheets. Within the export dialog there's these tabs along the top which hold all of the settings that are available to us. Now the main focus that we'll look at is in terms of the templates. We need to pick a template before we can export. In this instance, fancy green images at the top has been selected. We can look at the settings that are available for this particular template, and this gives us an indication of perhaps the image sizes that we should select, and in fact we can click use recommended settings and that will add these settings to the settings in the dialog. We need to pick a destination for our fact sheets, as well as the type of fact sheet that we want to export. So in this instance we'll export HTML as well as PDFs. If we are selecting PDFs for export, then there's some additional settings that we can select from here, such as paper size, orientation, color mode, etc. That we can choose from. And then we also want to select the size of the images that we're after. So in this instance we're doing 900 images and 250 pixel thumbnails. The next tab is topics, and here we can override the media options for any media that's attached to topics themselves. Entities, we can create an index, we can include media in the index, we can cross-link in entities within the topics. So what this means is that if this particular entity is mentioned in this topic text of this entity, then a link is automatically created between the two fact sheets for us. We can also integrate the glossary, and we can cross-link the glossary within the topics and as well. In the advanced options of the export dialog, we can choose to export the media into a different location from the actual fact sheets. This is useful if you're needing to do that for another application such as Lucid. We can also export a media list XML file. Again, this is useful for working with other applications or platforms. We can export a sitemap. This will allow search engines to index our content much more easily. And we can also export various things, a limit to safe file names and file name lengths and so forth, as well as integrate Google Analytics within our fact sheets by just putting in the code that we would have registered. Once we've picked all of the settings that we're interested in, it's just a matter of clicking the export button here. When we do that, Factsheet Fusion is now compiling all of the fact sheets, and it's taking all of the topics and text associated with those and outputting them as either HTML, PDF, etc. You can see here this is giving us an estimated time to complete, number of export jobs. On longer exporting jobs, you can choose to tell your computer to shut down afterwards, or sleep, hibernate, etc. But in this instance, with only 31 entities, this shouldn't take too long to export out. And as we can see, we're almost finished, just exporting the rest of the glossary terms here, which there are quite a few. And once done, we're now given the option to preview what we've exported. And you can see that this is loaded up our default browser with the index page that we've asked it to create, with all of the entities that we've entered into Factsheet Fusion. So we can now look at any of these fact sheets. We can look through and see what the topics look like. In this particular one, it has some features for moving between fact sheets. We can click on any of the images and we can bring up a JavaScript based image viewer called Lightbox in this case. We can move between the images. We can go back to the index. We can look at the glossary. And we did say for this one to export PDFs as well. So if we look at a particular fact sheet, we can see, okay, here's the PDF edition. And if we load that up, here's the PDF version of that particular fact sheet there. It also has a print dialog option in this one as well. Now, if, for example, we wanted to change the whole look of this particular fact sheet, we can easily do that. And it's just a matter of picking a different template. Now, these templates can, of course, be customized to suit exactly what you want, include any logos or color schemes that you prefer. It does come with several templates that can be customized. So in this example, let's just change this to plain Jane, so a much plainer type fact sheet, but the image is located to the right. And again, just a matter of clicking export if we're happy with the export settings. And again, Factsheet Fusion will go through and start creating these new versions of the fact sheets based on that template. Now, what we could have done to speed the export up is we could have told it to skip any media export. Now, by default, it does actually check to see if the media exists and doesn't recreate it, but this will actually skip that whole process if we prefer. So we're just waiting on this export to occur. And once that's finished there, it'll ask to preview again. And you can see that the look of the index has changed based on that template, so it's a lot plainer now. If we look at that same fact sheet again, images are down on the right here. We can click to view any of these particular images, and we can look at the glossary. Again, it's different. It's not green anymore, and we can look at that same PDF version that we looked at previously. And again, it doesn't look too much different from the previous one because we're using the print optimized part of the template in this particular case. So you can see just by changing the template here that we can change the whole look of our fact sheets. We can also create templates for specialized options such as mobile platforms, Lucid Mobile, and so the content that we've created in the background can be exported at the click of a button, and makes it very easy to reuse the information that we've databased essentially. So that concludes this video of exporting fact sheets. Take a look at the other videos that we'll be producing over time of the other options in Factsheet Fusion, such as the glossary and other things that you can do with the media and so forth. Okay then, thanks very much for viewing.